get started here with Dynamo head coach Ben Olsen. We'll start with opening remarks. Ben, what do you take away from today's victory here over RSL?
A playoff win. It's hard. It's hard to get them. Believe me, I've been doing this long enough where it is very, very difficult to win playoff games, and you see why, because you're going against opponents now that are cagey, experienced. You're going against a coach that's uh, been in these situations many times and has had success. So uh, these are what playoff games look like. And again, today it was tight. I'm proud of the fact that we went down and still had the resolve and spirit to come back and get the winning goal and not take it to playoffs. That was the shootout. That was very important for us. And overall, an okay day from us. And it wasn't our greatest soccer, but part of that is the opponent. They did a really good job of taking the crowd out of it and putting the right numbers in spots to frustrate us at times. And their transition play was very dangerous throughout the night, and we could have gave up another one or two as they have some cagey attackers, and they're down some guys. So it was a good game from them, but in the end, it was a better game from us.
I think for that, we'll start here with Jorge, then go over to Al.
Coach, how did you prepare for your first playoff game since 2019 and for the team that hasn't appeared since 2017?
The same way we do every game. You know, we turned it up a little bit. There was some, there's some a little wrinkles in the week of making sure it felt different going into this game, but mostly nothing has changed as far as how we prepare for a team. This was difficult because we couldn't really piece together a lineup. They've got a lot of questionable players in the lineup or out of the lineup and some injury issues. So it was really tough. And the back five gave us trouble and almost lulled us into a sense of security. And I thought when the ball turned over, we weren't dialed in enough in the transitions. And it cost us energy and it cost us a few chances on the other end.
Coach, you've talked about experience season long. You get two goals from two very experienced players today. Just your thoughts on, what experience players.
So I thought Héctor was amazing. The way he pulled the strings today was, again, it's what we expect of him. And, I don't doubt him when the game becomes more important. And he's just going to step up because he's that type of player. So again, and the goal was a bonus for him. He took it well, and I think that opened up the game. It would have continued to be tough going if we don't get that early goal, and kind of stretch them out a little bit. Then they went to the floor, which gave them a little bit more attack, and it took us a while to kind of deal with that and understand what they were doing, but. Bassi, just again another really solid game. Good energy on both sides of the ball. He's a guy that can float in so many different spots and cause teams trouble. And the quality on the ball is very high. So glad he got that goal. Left-footed too, right? He looks sharp. It's not even close who the best dressed is here.
Coach, very exciting football today. You guys, the shots on goal was tremendous, and you got to be happy about that in the attack you had today. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean the stats are great, and the shots look good and expected goals look good, but in the end, I still think we weren't efficient enough in the offensive end. We wasted a lot of opportunities. And I thought we also exposed ourselves at times where we didn't need to, whether it was the quality on the ball or whether it was the numbers that we, our balance or our structure as we attacked. And we were a little bit naive at times. And it cost us, again, a lot of energy and a few really good chances from them. So But again, we're resilient. We gave one up. And we found a way to get this win, and now we can go back to the tape and look at it and kind of discuss this as a group and get better. But playoff soccer there's no easy playoff games. And again, as I said before, it's a good coach. It's a cagey team. They've been there before. So it's a great win for the club.
Chris, go ahead.
Congratulations, Mr. Ben.
Thanks, Chris.
Nice victory for game one, 2-1. But in this game, if you check the stats, your team had 23 shots at goal as against about 7 shots at goal from Real Salt Lake. And also your possession was 72% as against 28% for Real Salt Lake. So Houston Dynamo dominated and had more shots at goal. So what do you think can be done differently going to game two?
Well, I think they've got another week to figure out how to get some guys back healthy for them. And so, again, it'll be another puzzle of trying to figure out both what structure they look like and how they're going to go about it, and also who's in the team. So you can prepare in the way they started, but they're at home. They've got to win. So it'll certainly be a more aggressive look from them. And so we'll prepare for that. But we'll go about them in a similar way, and we'll try to we understood that this game was going to look like this from the get-go, that it was going to be a low block. So the stats are they don't care about the stats. We're 1-1. They don't give a shit about whether we have a bunch of passes or not. This is playoff soccer, and then getting to the shootout would have been a big win for them. So I think this game will look different in Salt Lake, but again, we'll see. So we'll try to piece together how we think they're going to go about it, and we'll prepare our team as best we can. But then it's about adapting. And today they went from start with a 5, and then they went to a 4, and then they bring in some speed with at halftime too. So there's just so many variables, and these games just move in different directions, and you can, and as a coach, you're somewhat helpless. You can make some adjustments, but players have to be experienced. And I thought at times we just didn't get that part of how to go about the game and not be as exposed as we were.
We'll go up here up front, and we'll go to Jesus in the back.
Congratulations, coach. And how do you feel about seeing all the fans supporting the team tonight? And do you like the MLS playoffs format?
Well, so far I like the MLS format, but the fans are great. It was nice to see an almost packed house, and hopefully we don't have to see them again in this round. But if we do, hopefully we can put together that type of crowd again. But again, a great night. It just makes us extremely happy that when we can have new people in the building, some old, fans that have been here each week, and then also there was obviously a bunch of new people in this building tonight, and hopefully we put on the right type of show where they can come back, not only as the playoffs go, but also next year. So that's what this is about.
Coach, you have said throughout the season that this team has to win, games in many different kinds of ways. This game, while the stats do prove that you guys were sort of the, better team, but you kind of still had to grind it out. Is it kind of just another way that this team has to win sometimes, just grind it out like this?
Yeah, as I said, there's no easy playoff games. There's just, especially against this team. They're not against this coach. It's just not in their DNA. So this will be a very, very tough matchup as we go. And the way it went down, we weren't surprised. And again, I was happy with still the way we break teams down and get looks. But I think when we look back at the tape, there's some structural stuff that we can improve on to make sure we're not as exposed. So I know I didn't answer your question. Thanks, Joe.
Justin, hey Ben. There's been a lot of talk about Diego Luna coming into these playoffs. Obviously, he scored tonight on the counter. How do you kind of rein him in as you continue in this series?
He's nasty, and you could see him just growing from kind of the beginning of the season where he was in and out of the lineup, and now he's just he's such a hard worker. He's physical. He's clean. He's got good instincts. Just a really nice player and young. And the times he was able to come out of some things in the transition moments, him and Severino, they've got some high level attackers. And if they get some guys back over the week, they'll maybe be able to add something to that mix. But they'll play a big part in this next game, and we'll have to do better on those guys. But again, him and Severino in particular caused us quite a bit of trouble. And then, of course, the two subs that came on, real juice. And Gomez was a handful and put us under quite a bit and created some nice attacks. So they're going. They got to win this next game. And I would think we'd see a little bit of that, a little bit more of an attacking team.
Hey Ben, congrats on the win tonight. We talk about the missed chances, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on. We created a huge number of corner kicks, and you can feel the momentum in the stadium. We're just waiting to erupt. I want to hear your thoughts on the chances created. I only remember one that was very dangerous, Eric's header in the first half, but that's an area of improvement. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the
You
corner
said
kick.
it, man. It has not been our bright spot this year. There's a lot of good coming out of this season, but set pieces has not been one of them. Although we're 1 for 2 in the last 2 games, so that's a good thing, and I think we're feeling a little bit more confident about getting some looks. So it's service, it's commitment, it's timing, and then it's execution. So some of that is so many times 2, 3 of those have been off, and or even if one's off, it's hard to score on set pieces. So that part continues to evolve, and we work on it a lot. We look at it, we dissect it. It's just not right now something that has given us a lot of production. But you never know. Again, we scored on it last game, and it opened up the Portland game. So we still have confidence that we can do it. It's just been not enough over the course of the year.
Anything else for Ben here in the room? Nope. Okay. Thank you very much, Ben.
Go ahead, man. I'm here all night. It's early. It's usually everybody wants questions when it's 8 o'clock. You guys all want out of here when it's 11. I can hear you.
Okay, my fault. Well, you mentioned a bit about, set pieces. I wanted to add into that, it was stated that Aurelian Collin, helped out much. We don't really hear from them, but, how much do they help you, in those areas?
My staff is critical in everything we do. Preparing and trainings, and they've been incredible. Thanks for the question. It's, I rarely give my staff a shout out, and they've been incredible this year. Those that have been around me in the coaching world know that I need a lot of help, and I give a lot of responsibility to my assistants, and they've been a huge part in the success we've had this year, and as all staffs of me are. If we're having success, they get a lot of credit. So they've been great. And Aurelian's been he's a new coach, so he's learning his way. But he's got he speaks 4 different languages. He'll tell you 6. But he's infectious. His personality's been great, and he has been doing a lot of set pieces and working with the defenders quite a bit. So, and we have 13 shutouts, and he works with Mika DeSantos and a lot of these guys that are growing. He's a big part of it. Brendan Burke, a dean who's an academy product that we brought up, has been great, and and Tim Hanley, the goalkeeper coach, he's got more rings than all of us. So he's been around. He's a winner. He gets it. And our sports science, we can't thank them. Our injuries, knock on wood, have been one of the top in the league, and you can't have success if you're constantly getting muscle, soft tissue injuries. And if you look back on the year, some of our injuries have been different, but not a lot of soft tissue injuries. So that part's been good. Good.
We've got one more in the back.
1-0 right now. Is the approach any different heading into game 2, knowing that you have that 1-0 advantage, or do you just continue to play your brand?
I think we're going to watch the film and kind of come up with, what this looks like and kind of decompress for a day and because it's cagey. Okay. We just saw them. They just saw us. We're up one. It's 90 minutes straight to PKs. It's not aggregate, right? So all you need to do is win to get back here from their end. And all we have to do is win, whether it's in regular time or in a shootout on the road. And the road mentality, I don't know yet. We'll figure it out. We got a lot of thinking over the next 2 days, but it's the fascinating part of this best of three series, right? Is that the familiarity brings, a little bit of contention, right? But also the tactical battle is going to be a lot of fun.
We've got one on Zoom with Edgar Acero. Edgar, go ahead.
Hi, Coach. Just to piggyback of that last question for Game 2. Obviously, you have to watch film and do all that, but from an emotional standpoint, Houston hasn't won a playoff game since like almost 6 years ago. So, how do you approach that from an emotional standpoint with the players, and maybe relying on some of the more experienced guys in the squad, like Héctor Herrera and some of those guys? Thank you.
Yeah, I always rely on players, and Hector and some of these guys have been around, because it's a new team. Yes, it's not that experienced together in these type of games, but there's enough MLS Cup players that have got rings and experience on this team. So I think they'll be fine. I don't think they need too much of a pep talk for this next game. They understand. I think they understand a little bit more now that how good Salt Lake is and how difficult they are to play against and how difficult this game's going to be in Salt Lake. But they also have confidence in themselves, and we've been doing okay on the road as of the last couple months, and we'll take that confidence into that game. But understand that this will be a very, very difficult match. Good. Okay, guys.
Thank you, Ben.